Hi all, I welcome you to the Building Culture podcast where I invite incredibly smart people who build things. Whether they be engineers, entrepreneurs, programmers, hobbyists or researchers, it does not matter. As long as you're someone who's passionate about building things, I'll find you and podcast you. Hi all, I want to take a brief moment to thank you all personally for supporting this podcast on YouTube and on all major podcast platforms, including Google Podcasts and Spotify. The podcast mainly features interesting people in robotics, artificial intelligence, and entrepreneurship. If you believe that the information that I'm providing might be of benefit to you or to someone you know, it would be really great if you could hit the subscribe button and press the notification icon so that you can get notified on time whenever the next part is out. It would literally take you a second or two to subscribe to the podcast, but it would really mean a lot to me because I can grow the podcast to a level where I can reach more people, invite ever more interesting guests, and have a more meaningful impact. So let's begin now. You did your master's in computer science at TU Delft. So how was the course structured? Could you give an outline of overall how it was designed, and was it more practical oriented or mostly theoretical? How was it?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, like in TU Delft, my experience was really good because we had a lot of practical exposure, and most of the courses were like 50% of the grade was on the exams. I would not say most of the course because we had few exams. So few courses had 50% grade for exams and 50% was for compulsory lab work. Normally in classroom, you don't need to go to the classroom compulsorily. There's no attendance. You can also see recorded lectures. But in practical, in labs, you have to go there. There will be normally a PhD or a postdoc. And what they try to do is, in the lab assignments, they try to also take benefit of their research. So suppose a PhD has to get some data. So in a way they teach you, and it's very symbiotic relationship. So they also gather something for their publication, and you act like a test subject, and you in the way you also learn something from them. So I before starting here, I did not know how to use Python, although I have learned many programming languages, but I've never used Python. And also I did not know how to crawl data from Twitter. So after we learned some basics of Python in a lab, then there was an assignment in one day to crawl data into 2 or 3 hours. They give you like a Python notebook which is in Jupyter, and they have certain predefined codes. You need to fill certain sections so that you understand the algorithm. It's not that you write everything from scratch. So I like the approach because they don't make you very intimidating. Like if you see something in the beginning and you learn the language and immediately write everything from scratch. So you fill certain aspects and then you learn how that algorithm works, what it is actually doing. It was, I don't remember, but it was something like crawling data about some tourist points in certain longitude and latitude or longitude, and then detecting how often, which is like a hotspot for tourists based on the Twitter feed that you get. You just build a small API and get the authentication and do this. So those kind of things, initially when I hear those things, I feel like it's something really big. And when I do this with them and getting guidance from them and also with the group, then I feel it's a very small thing, but we have never explored that, or we have never thought about it. So because everything is there on the internet, if you see nowadays on Google or YouTube, they also teach you that, like yourself, you also get guidance about the lab and everything, and you, from the different individual experiences of your Dutch colleagues or the PhDs or postdocs, you also learn how they learn by themselves, which is really easy and fun once you start doing it. So yeah, it was really good. And because they focus more on publications, so lab work was also like, suppose they have last 5-year publications which are their work, and they give that as sections of code in the Jupyter notebook, and in certain aspects, in certain parts where they leave the fill in the blanks, which are mostly like they are brainstormings, where they think, okay, this can be improved like this, and let's see what the people in the lab think about it. So if we do something, we also learn by improving that, and in the same time they also collect those ideas and try to write another paper out of it. So it was more like benefiting each other without knowing, because I came to know that we are also benefiting them after I finished that course. So yeah, it was really good. Like,
so indirectly, the students actually get to work on real world research, mini projects or activities.
yeah, you can say exactly like what is going on in the current state of the art research in that field.
Okay, and normally here in German universities, the courses, the curriculum is structured such that you have 1.5 hour lecture and then 1.5 hour exercise session for the same lecture. Is it similar there at TU Delft as well?
Sorry, I did not hear you. 1 hour lecture, then 1 hour.
Did it crack? The voice? Did the voice crack or something?
No. I was thinking something else.
Oh, okay. I thought the network or something.
No. 1 hour. Yeah.
Yeah, so normally in Germany, what we have is we have 1.5 hour of lecture and then 1.5 hour of exercise session. Is it similar at TU Delft as well, or a bit different?
So we have, I don't think we have the exercises along with the lectures. So normally the 1.5 hour lecture is there. That is the 90 minutes lecture with a break of 15 minutes, I think, in the middle. If I'm not wrong, I think 10 to 15 minutes. But these exercise sessions are part of the lab. So they never do it immediately after the lecture. Sometimes, so the labs are normally not immediately after that. They are normally spaced out. So you do all these exercises in the lab. And as you mentioned, sometimes there is also interrelation. So if they teach something, even if it is from a research paper, like a small theory or a concept, you implement that when you go to the labs. That is why the lab is compulsory. Even though you don't come to the lectures, you have to come to the lab. Then only they are sure that you are able to understand this. And apart from that, I did not mention, some courses also had no exams, but 30% grade for assignments, which are like 8 to 10 daily assignments. They were averaged for 30%, and 50% grade for group projects, which are based on the labs and the theory, and 20% grade for the compulsory labs. So it was no exam. In a way, I feel safe because you can pass that course. That's what I feel, because giving exam and passing is difficult, at least here. And but you work more, so you don't give exams, but you work really hard because of the daily assignments, like weekly assignments and group projects where you have weekend meetings. But you, at the same time of working hard, you are also safe, as I feel, in terms of passing, and also you learn a lot in terms of getting that theory and getting some small chunks in the lab, and again implementing in projects. Like for example, this Twitter crawling, it was also a mini project. So after learning this hotspot detection, we were given some assignments. I don't remember exactly, but it was like a 2-week assignment, and that was like a 2-member group assignment for the crawling, something on top of that. And we also had one course where we had assignment to build a recommender system, where we can, it was an information retrieval course where we need to build a recommender system, and you can choose anything you want. So we chose like a jewelry shopping page. We make as a group of 6 members, and then you show some tags, and some way you rank them, and you apply what you learn, like Elasticsearch and the things that were taught there. I don't remember everything, but all these things, like small things like how information is retrieved, what is TF IDF, what is cosine similarity, the way the Google ranks everything. I mean, it's very old, but they have improved a lot. So all these things, you put it into practice in the lab work, and they also have specific defined criteria for grading. So even the lab work will say like, okay, if you use this concept in whatever way you want, they will never restrict you how you use it, but you should have that component in the project. Then you get certain grade. So in that way, it is very open, flexible, but it has a predefined structure. So Suppose in my project I should have a search bar which ranks the search in this way, and then you can make it like showing the search bar in blue, yellow with glowing lights, or you can do anything fancy on top of it, but this basic thing should be there. That will give you, so in that way you make sure that you pass the exam. So there was a graphics 3D graphics course which I think was the most difficult for me. There we had to design a snake game. So so that was, I think, one of the and we did not pass the project in the first attempt, and we are the only group which did not pass. So we requested our professor, and he was very kind enough to give another opportunity, and then we worked in the summer vacation and we just passed. After that he just gave a 6 is passing in Netherlands out of 10. So that was the toughest. I think you need a lot of mathematics, the 3D imagination like XYZ axis, and then you have to model those characters using some software called Blender. And then so there's a lot of things which I never use now, but I learned and used it, and then it's gone. It was really tough, like the doing everything, the whole course.
Yeah, but interesting that you had plenty of projects and then you gain practical experience as well while studying. So now let's move on to the final part of the conversation. So you talk about your visions about the education system, how you would want to contribute in a small way towards improving it, and also your LinkedIn. The first statement of your LinkedIn description says that ambition and optimism drive me. So I perceive you as someone who is very motivated and you're doing a lot of things. So my very first question to you is, what drives you? Or in other words, why do you do what you do?
Yeah, so I mean, that is what I mention everywhere. Even on my CV, I have this. I don't know if I have it now. In my older version, I had this first statement like ambition and optimism drives me. So, yeah, I mean, like, just wait, let me think.
Yeah, sure.
Let me drink some water.
Yeah, sure.
How is the weather there?
Weather, it's actually quite sunny right now.
Oh, nice.
But
because
it's-
here it is raining.
Oh, okay.
I mean, normally the Dutch weather is like this.
I think in Akano as well the weather was like this. So it's, I think in that area towards the west, I think it rains a lot.
Yeah. So as you saw in my LinkedIn, and also I have mentioned in my CV, like ambition and optimism drives me. So the one thing that I would say helps me to focus is, as I mentioned before also, if I try out different things, be it 5 different things that I like, if I do them, maybe in the parallel in sense, not like 5 things in a day, but in a week. So if I am busy in something, like maybe reading a book or making a video or editing a video, if I keep myself busy in any way, maybe cooking, maybe traveling, so it's not like I'm sitting on a chair and staring out of the window, then that might bring more negative thoughts, as I feel, instead of doing something. So if you keep yourself busy, that's what helps me. Then I feel really energetic to do anything I want, if I keep myself busy. So that's why if you have 5-6 things to do, then it will not be the case that you dislike 6 things at the same time. So you will have something to fall back on once you lose interest in the other things. So yeah,
So
I
what
mean,
is
watching a movie is also keeping yourself busy. So
yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to ask you. So you're saying that
no,
you do
so
these things because you want to keep yourself busy, but you could keep
yeah,
yourself
so
busy in a lot of unproductive ways.
no, so what I want to say is again the uh, productivity is the reason I did not mention productivity is because I also spend sometimes I think like I should clear out my head and watch a TV series or so I think it depends on the contextual meaning like if you continuously watch 8 hours of any video or social media or anything you might call it unproductive. But if after a long day and maybe you are working for 12 hours, maybe 8 hour PhD and 4 hour on videos and maybe 1 hour also cooking, and then you think like okay I should relax and be lost in this and make so in that sense watching movie that day will be really a productive thing for you because it helps you to relax. So that's why I'm saying like that's why I did not mention about productivity. So I would say like when you do also those unproductive things, if you can do it in a productive way, then it is also acceptable in your list of parallel tasks that drives you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the main thing is that you keep on have multiple projects going on simultaneously.
Yeah.
So you don't get bored. You also mentioned that that keeps you away from negative thoughts in a way.
Yeah, I
Can you
mean, I
elaborate on
feel
that?
like as there is a saying like empty vessel sounds much. So I feel like if you continuously sit and I mean if you sleep that is something different, but if you sit and you are active mentally and physically and you are just sitting on the floor looking at something and start thinking okay this PhD has 4 publications, I have 3, I got rejected for the last year, what will I do in the future, will my PhD ever finish? And but at that moment I mean sometimes that situation comes very rarely, but then okay why am I wasting my time in this, okay let's go and cook the rice or I mean just creating those diversions yourself like because you are the main master over your mind, right? Like and in this situation I think you need more of this when you are staying only with yourself unless you are with a group or a family. You are more conscious, right? Like what you are doing and you should be able to drive yourself otherwise. So driving yourself and doing n different things and also making the unproductive thing productive, that's the short formula coming from Sambit PhD, which I don't think you should apply, everyone should apply, but
Okay. So ambition and optimism drive you. So can you elaborate more on that? Like what's your ambition and also about your
I think the
views on
optimism
optimism?
part is more like already answered. Like I would say, like just think positive, don't compare with anyone. In the comparison, there is also another aspect which I did not mention. Like if someone, like for example, if you start a YouTube channel and you see that the other person started with you, but in 2 months he has 100k subscribers and you have 5k subscribers, so that doesn't mean like I mean because you don't know what is happening inside, right? Like I mean I have seen people like there are people who really commit to that or they have a team and they are advertising something and you are just doing yourself everything, you are not investing that much time and money in that, so obviously they will get a better result in a short period of time. So you never see the complete picture but you always assume something and then start to degrade yourself or maybe think something bad about the other person. So that's why I say social comparison is also another research topic in our group someone is working on. So so I mean that is a bit different, I'm here going more towards the philosophical side, but it never helps like social comparison if you, but instead of that I think many people have said in many different books also like always try to compare yourself. So if you compare like 1 month back how was I and one, so for example, in my case, suppose I say, okay, 2 years back, I had a channel where 50 people are watching every day. Now I have a channel where approximately 1.2k people watch every day. So in that way you can feel happiness, right? Like you feel like you are higher than, but at that moment you suddenly bring in like, okay, that person has 100k, now you are like so that's how optimism can be like derived or can be produced from different instances in life, and it is you only who can do it better. And about ambition, I don't have an example because I don't think I have done something really wonderful, but only thing is like if you have a higher aim, I don't think I have mailed you. So in every email I send to people, I have a quotation there which is also on this wall, so which says that the greatest danger for most of us is not that our aim is too high and we miss it, but that it is too low and we reach it. So it is said by Michelangelo, I don't know when, but it was a very famous quote, and I always put this on my CV and every email signature. So I like this quotation a lot, and probably I will also put it on my PhD thesis, because in PhD thesis we have to put 10 propositions, and it will be one of this, guaranteed. So I don't know why, but why not? Like just aim high and think that you can reach to that level, and if you don't reach there, then try to compare yourself to what you are doing before, so that you don't go into that negativity. So there's not a definite answer why you should be ambitious, but I would say like it helps you to always have that, so you never have that quenching, like there's never a mark, okay, if I reach this, then I sit idle and go on meditation or go to some cave, or so you are constantly keeping yourself busy to whatever age you can, like
Constantly growing.
Growing, that's the good word.
Okay. So, but since when do you have this mindset? Did you have it like since the school days, or did you develop this thing over the years?
I think to be honest, I even did not feel when I developed that. It's very difficult to pinpoint when I did that, but I would say like a period. So the period will be starting somewhere towards the end of my master thesis. After I had a publication. Again, I'm going back to rewards, but that's how life works. So from that point till somewhere when I started my PhD in the first 6 months. So in that period of 6 to 10 months, some point I developed that. I don't know how, but that was the point. Like, I think the main reason behind that is because, again, I should not say India, but the moment you are, because it is true, like in India, you are always trained that failure is a bad thing. So I don't know if you will agree, but at least that's what I had in my society. So once I got a PhD, at that time I had seen multiple failures. They are very small, they don't impact that much, but they teach you, they tell you to see the life in a very different way. So I don't remember, but during my PhD I had around 20 to 30 rejections before I got the first admit. And before that also in my masters, as I mentioned you, in the beginning of my thesis I was struggling a lot. So at some point I was feeling like, will I be able to really work with this group of people, or will I ever be able to do a master thesis? And the third thing was, will I ever be able to finish on time? So because we have also the financial burden in Netherlands, that you spend so much on the education expenses, and that's also from parents and loan and everything. So yeah, so that was the point. Like I don't know exactly, but that after seeing these struggles or the failures, then you realize like these are very small things. Like it makes you learn so much. Like I mean, I also mentioned like I failed one subject during my masters. So because I have never failed, like as you call in back paper or backlog in India. So in bachelor's I never had that. So it was kind of a very different feeling for me, although it is same for Dutch people because they're used to it. So then I realized, like, why am I thinking like this? Like, I mean, this is like, because you are already ingrained in that, in the society. So when you see these things, and then by the time you see maybe 1 or 10 failures, then I think you get really mature to understand the really beauty of learning from those situations, like instead of getting demotivated. And at the same time, I think at that time you also need someone to talk to you. I think you cannot do it yourself from the beginning, so you either need someone close by, or your parents, or maybe some motivational speakers if you follow, I don't know, like so initially that is the bootstrap, and then once you have that, then I think you also start developing yourself, like guiding yourself, the mindset.
Okay. So that's quite inspiring, I would say.
I
So,
hope it doesn't go in the spiritual direction, I don't know, like.
No, it's fine. I mean, in this third section, we are free to open to these kinds of things as well. So that's fine. But yeah, what I really like is that how, you changed your mindset because you became comfortable with failures, and before that, you were afraid of being, of failing an exam or any goal in general, because I think, yeah, that's the mindset that we develop. But I agree. I mean, the failure is considered such a bad thing. Like you failed, so you're not a good person and stuff like that. But once you become comfortable with failure, and I think from your journey, what I can understand is that as you became okay with failure, that it's okay to fail. The Dutch people don't give a damn about having failed an exam many times, and then
mean,
after that.
To add to it, like the major demerit if you avoid failure or start thinking negatively is that you will have this fear of trying out, because we have that in there. Like that's why we never try out, because if you try out, you want to be in a comfortable position, right? Like okay, I mean, people who start a startup, they always get this advice or anything. I've heard from many people, like don't do this. If you do this, why are you leaving a very respectable job with a 10k or something salary? You are such a comfortable life, you have a wife, you have a son, why do you want to? So it's like, so not everyone is same, so why do you constrain yourself with that kind of mindset?
Yeah, exactly. So once you became comfortable with failing, and then you would, as you mentioned, you would try out many different things, because why not, right? Because failure does not bother you, and then once you try out different things, then you can also set high goals, right? I mean, this is just something you make up in your mind, so why not set really high goals? And even if you fail, you grow in the process, and
Yeah,
probably it doesn't matter.
yeah,
So
because you have already started accepting it.
That's really, I mean, you covered in so much clarity of how you think and why you do these many things. So thank you for that. And also you mentioned that there are also a lot of people who support you in adopting this mindset. So do you have some idols or role models that have helped you in the reaching this mindset of trying out different things without caring a lot?
During my masters, I think first was my parents. That's for sure. Because we always have like everyday one Skype conversation, and I am very open, so they also try to, because unless you are open, how will they know like what is happening to you abroad? So they helped a lot, like in terms of thinking and accepting things and everything. I mean, obviously, if you think like that, most parents, there will be something in India, but once you are abroad, they also think in that sense. Not like they will always push that thinking also when you're abroad and living alone. So that is one primary source of support. And the second one, I don't know if you should include in this video, but have you heard about Brahma Kumari? So I don't have any inclination or belief in their whole ideology, but there are certain people in that who speak a lot about how you can program your mind, what is positive thinking, how you can do positive thinking. So those teachings or those particular videos helped me a lot. So I'm not a blind follower of that. So if you say like, they say like, don't eat non-veg, it does this, that. So I eat non-veg. So just to make it clear, I'm saying, so because I like certain aspects of that society, of certain people, so I just extract those things, and because it helped me a lot. So there was someone called Shivani, I don't remember her name, Shivani Behan, they call Shivani Behan. So she is an engineer, and now she left her family, and or she is with I think she left the family, I don't know. So she is an engineer from background, but she teaches these things, like there are many videos on YouTube also, where they say like what is positive thinking, how do you preserve your energy. And I think some of the lectures are really very practical. If you hear them, you can also implement them. You don't need any special tools or meditation or anything. It is just changing the way you think. So that helped a lot, and that was also exposed by my parents. So her things helped a lot. And apart from that, I think in this I did not read that many books till 2019, and I realized that many of my friends, they used to read a lot of books. The thing is that I don't dislike books, but somehow when I see videos, they are more addictive to, even if it is a movie, it is more easier to, because you don't have that load to read and process, so you just see it lightly. And that's why I just avoid books. I always think like I should read books, and then when I see my friends, they learn a lot, because there's a lot of knowledge out there, be it a person's own journey or some company or startup, or there are many things. So till that time I avoided, and I think in 2019 December or 20 January, I thought every year I will read 5-6 books. But till the end of this year, I have started 4, but none of them have been finished. So that I need to push myself. Apart from doing whatever I am doing, I need to push myself to allocate some time for that. So only book I think we have read a lot is Elon Musk, his biography, and that helped me a lot. I watched a lot of videos on him. The thing I like about him is that, obviously he's super intelligent in what he does, but what I like about him is also the story that always shows up everywhere. They also try to make it more glossy, I would say, like about if you have heard about it, like the multiple failures that he had with the rockets, and then NASA was also not sure, like that last one which took off, if it had not, then maybe he would not have got the contract, and now they are the pioneers. And so his journey is kind of very inspiring. So I don't learn anything from it, but when I see his journey, I see myself there, although I should not never compare to Elon Musk. It's just a small, like the same track, I would say, like not, it's nowhere near, because failing in 100 million euro or dollar rockets and failing in one PhD interviews can nowhere be compared. But
yeah, but there
I'm
are
just
both
saying
failures essentially, so you learn from them.
Yeah.
So also you mentioned how Brahma Kumaris and spirituality has had a role in shaping your mindset. What was the one thing that you learned from Brahma Kumaris that has like totally changed the way you view life?
I think the fundamental thing that was very interesting was this, like about the social comparison. They said it in a different way. So what she was saying, Sibani Ben was saying, that if you think negative about someone else, um, or if you say something negative to someone else, then what happens is that you cause harm or you hurt that person. But at the same time, every person has certain level of hidden mental or physical energy that we have, and that energy level depends on our activities. So if you do these kind of comparisons or hurt someone else physically, not physically, I mean like verbally or something, then it just, I mean, that person is hurt, and also it depletes your energy level. So if you think everything in terms of energy, when you do a negative thinking or start comparing and thinking jealous about someone, or doing some harm to that person, or thinking how you can do that, then it just, you have a limited energy in a day, and you already deplete 20% or 10% of your energy in that day for that, thinking that and doing that thing. And then obviously you cannot work with that productivity or that level of energy for the rest of the things that you planned for that day. And this is very small, so if you do this once or twice, you will never notice. But if you do this repeatedly, you will, if you start noticing it, you will definitely notice that how that difference in thinking or not doing that kind of thinking helps you in terms of making you more energetic throughout the day. And yeah, I mean, there are many others, but this was very striking for me. Yeah, and I don't think, I till now I also don't, I know a particular way to manage it, because I don't do meditation, although I know that it will be very useful, many people say it. But yeah, I mean, whatever you can, you should try whatever is comfortable for you. And that is also one thing they always say in Brahma Kumaris, like, never force yourself something. So if someone doesn't want to really do meditation, or if you close your eyes for 10 minutes, you don't feel good, then don't do it. Like, it will never cause good for you. If you do something forcibly for a longer period of time, it's never going to work. Like, yeah, I mean, her talks are really, really practical. She's an engineer by profession, and she never says anything in the video like something like, okay, you should worship this, or if you, I mean, it's, everything can be really implemented by simple humans without anyone's help.
Try something in your life to improve it, then that's beneficial. So you also talk about how you have a how you have this ambition and you have a vision for yourself. Do you have something defined for yourself for the next several years?
I don't have a particular vision, at least for 10 years. Like, for the 1 or 2 years, I have like short term vision. Like, I mean, long term is more like contributing in some way to the society. It can be some anything. It can be by cooking, it can be by videos, it can be by, it's not only restricted to my PhD research, or making a company, or making a powerful tool which dominates everyone. So it can be anything, but it's some way contributing to the society and helping others, because you have only one life. And in that one life, if you can, that's my belief, like, if you can somehow, apart from taking care of yourself and your family, if you can also somehow bring happiness to others, or contribute something in any way, maybe in education, maybe helping them, maybe if you have grown a lot monetarily, or maybe anything, then it's really, it will make them happy, and you will feel content. That's what I feel like. So I don't have a proper really long vision, but this will be something like this, maybe a bigger version of this, what I'm saying now.
Okay. So ultimately, for you, the most fulfilling thing would be contributing something to the society in whichever form that it could be.
Yeah.
Okay. And what is your like short-term vision? Like you mentioned, like for the next 1 or 2 years, you probably have some.
First is finishing my PhD. And then, yeah, like otherwise it will be like Sambit PhD channel doesn't have a PhD. So,
Okay. Yeah.
so yeah, I mean, um, finishing my PhD and then I have to decide like I am not sure till now also like should I go for postdoc or should I leave academia, do something on my own, or should I have both like academia and also something on my own? And should I go to India after postdoc or should I go to India before postdoc? So all these things are kind of unanswered. I think like when I start writing my thesis, because I always feel, be it masters or PhD, when you are ready, almost ready at the tip, when you start writing the thesis, then you do these things, then it will not hamper your current thing and also not hamper what you are searching for. So probably that will be my time when I start looking for all of these things when I start writing.
Yeah, so once you're finished with the main part and you're just writing your thesis, then you can concentrate on this. So also, you said that you started reading books. So do you have some book
Yeah,
recommendations? You
definitely.
mentioned one about
Because I
Elon
searched
Musk.
a lot. I searched a lot on the books, so I have a lot of recommendation. I think those are good books. Although I have not finished them, someday I will finish it and maybe make a video also if I
Okay.
like certain parts. Because that's also why. Um, have you heard about Yuval Noah Harari?
Yeah, the short history of everything or something like
Ah,
that,
okay.
right?
I have not read that book, but I was reading the what was that? 21 Lessons of the 21st Century. So this is what I was telling about in the 21 Lessons of the 21st Century by Yuval Noah Harari.
Ah, okay.
So he's the author from Israel, and this book is really good. Like I think I have read only 1/4 of it. Pen is there in the middle. So this is basically about the whole history. I think they have a forward. Basically telling you like what will happen, what type of challenges do we have, like 21st in the. I mean, he has three parts of books. One is on the past, one is in the present, one is in the future. So this is more of the present for the 21st century. What are the things that have gone wrong or gone right, and how this is going to shape humanity? And in this, he has mentioned a lot about AI, robots, and joblessness, automation. Everything is there in this. So, book is very interesting. I have only read few. Maybe once I finish it, I'll make something. And these are the other books. I think out of them, only 3 I have started reading. This was a really good book. If you want to, it doesn't teach you anything. These are like basic things, but if you want to know how you can divide your time into mini zones and focus, then hyperfocus is really a good book. This is again from the same author, which I have not started reading. It is on the past.
Sapiens.
Yeah, it is also from the same author, but it is talking about the past, brief history of humankind.
Yeah.
And this is about the future, which also I have not started reading.
So most of the books are from Yuval Noah Harari.
Yeah. That Sapiens book is really good. I saw a video, I read about it, and this was the book that I have read, I think like 30% or 40% about the biography of Elon Musk. And this is more like related to social media thing, like
Yeah, I've heard of this one. I haven't
this will help
read
you a lot
this.
if you're a psychologist or a marketing guy who wants to advertise something. Then this also I have not finished. So anything that you see on the screen have been started, most of them, but I have not finished. So I think these are the. But I would say, based on my experience, whatever I've heard, if you are if you want to start, then I think Yuval Noah Harari 21 Lessons of 21st Century is good to start. Sapiens is more like history, whatever I've heard from people, and Homo Deus is talking about very futuristic humans or machines, how will they look like. So
Okay.
and most of these books I've ordered via my university, so we have that facility. So
They're free?
yeah, I mean, according to rule, you can order any book They will pay for it from the university library budget, but you have to return when you leave the university after your PhD. So
Ah,
so
okay.
that is not a big issue for me until and unless I can finish them before I finish my PhD.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, those are good book recommendations. So Yuval Noah Harari's books I also heard a lot. I mean, the Sapiens one is very popular, right? I think it was
Yeah,
the best selling or
Sapiens,
so.
and I think 21 Lessons is also very popular because Obama and someone wrote very good review about it, Bill Gates. I mean, Sapiens, whatever I notice is that he has taken very small ideas and also compared it to very huge ideas. Apart from AI, machine, and everything, what will happen? Uh, whatever I've read till now, he has focused on two things. One is the bio. What does it call? I forgot the term. They call something called bio, something on bio. So in the future, when people will have the machines and everything AI working, so it will be more like bio. What is that term? I forgot the term.
No
Something
worries.
related to bio. So like you, just like you, did you see about the Neuralink? So whatever you see Elon Musk is developing, 90% of that is inspired from this book.
Really?
I mean, he doesn't say it or they don't say it. I find a match between the thought process of this or that. So don't quote me for this. Like, it was
Okay,
just
okay.
my
Observation.
yeah, observation. So Neuralink, whatever he has developed, is very similar to what he was talking in the book. Like some kind of chip will be there in our body, like a bio. So it is more like bio thing which is controlling us with the AI. So he's saying that the future after 2050 or after 2030 or something like that will be like this, and how this will create joblessness. And this is just first few pages, whatever I get from there. And if you read more, you'll get a lot of more ideas.
I'll add it to my list.
But the
I'll
people who are from
make sure
computer
I do.
science, AI background, or robotics, and I think they
Yeah.
should read that apart from history and all.
Yeah, that's quite interesting. Yeah. So
I think yeah. Just wait. One more thing. Because I remember that term. I don't know if it is relevant for this talk. So he had a very nice chapter name, which name was from killing mosquitoes to killing. Sorry, from killing. Yeah, from killing mosquitoes to killing thoughts. A chapter name.
okay.
So
What does that mean?
so in our present world, we can kill mosquitoes, right? I mean, we have medicines, we have certain physical, like we can control the birth of the mosquitoes. But can you control the birth and death of your thoughts?
That's more difficult, way more difficult.
But that is what he's saying, like with the chips, can we reach that level? There are a lot of questions in that book. Not like
Ah,
he's giving you
okay.
answers, but he's giving a lot of ideas and questions. And when he says that, then I remember like this book was written 1.5 years back, and obviously Elon Musk was working on Neuralink even before that. Maybe Elon Musk might have been interviewed by him. So because he's also like he doesn't like AI. This author also speaks negatively about AI, and Elon Musk also speaks negatively about AI, contrary to Mark Zuckerberg or
Hmm.
I don't know about Jeff Bezos, what is his stand. But Mark Zuckerberg, I don't know, maybe because he wants to sell Facebook, so he's always like for AI. So, and he doesn't have a good rationale also to explain why he's for AI. So,
Yeah. Yeah,
but this book
probably.
is
I mean,
really recommended. Even if I have read 10, 20%, but this 21 lessons you should read. Like, it's a really good book.
yeah, from what you explain, it sounds really relevant to my field as well, but also generally interesting. So
Yeah. I
those are
mean,
some really
you
good
will feel like,
recommendations.
okay, what is going to happen in the future? Or he was just saying, like, once you have this automated system, then there are lot of sides. So the main advantage will be if you have this, for example, you are now going to doctors. So if you have robots who are controlled centrally by a server or something in the whole world, which government can control, because he also
Hmm.
brings in policy aspect to it, saying how horrific it can become if government starts controlling the automation of the AI. they can just click a button and immediately all the doctor assistants or the robots are updated. But now that is not possible. So then if that happens, then what will happen to the new jobless class? So people will become jobless, there will no jobs, and then it will give rise to more jobs, which will be in maintaining that, how that interplay will happen. So that is what I have read till now, and there's more interesting things which will come later. Like,
Yeah. What is your view of joblessness? I mean, if, for example, if we reach such a stage where there's nobody has to work,
I
for
mean,
example, everyone gets a basic income.
so
What are the detriment to such?
I don't know about detriment, but I can say one thing is that in the current world, if you don't live with the change, the way the world is going now, if you don't live with the change, be it change in technology, be it change in the social norms, be it change in, if you don't adapt to those, then I think you will perish sooner or later. It is a very harsh sounding word, but
Mhm.
even job and everything, however talented you are, however degrees you have, if you don't live with the change, then I think some of the half of the humans will, as he says, like, um, you need to really adapt. So the problem is, because the way we are programmed, our human mind, is that we always want to be satisfied at some point. Like, for example, if you work hard 5 years learning new technologies, then next 10 years you want to sit and use that technology to something else. That is how the human's mind works. So if every 10 years we have a new change, then be it in technology or be it in policy or everything, then I don't think everyone can function well. So unless you learn how to adapt to that, either you will lose everything or it will be very tough, considering the way the society is moving now. With this kind of technologies also, he was saying, I think it was bioinformatics or something, I don't remember the term, but he was saying something about so you have to deal with the change. That's the only thing that I can say. Like, you need to retrain yourself. Like, for example, for 10 years, suppose you are doing video editing, just a simple example. After 10 years, you have AI which can edit your videos. There is now also there is AI. I was trying to work on that. So why I'm saying is, yesterday I found a YouTube video. I don't know how I got a recommendation. There is a guy who made a video 2 years back. He has a GitHub repo, and in that he had posted a code which edits your video automatically from Premiere Pro and makes a small 30-second, 60-second clip automatically. He has built that algorithm and he made a video on that for 1 or 2 days.
I was thinking of making something like that, but I never did.
No, I'm just saying, because you can have a look. That is not at all perfect, but it was made 2 years back, so there's a lot of potential in that. So what I'm trying to say is, if you have this kind of automated thing, maybe in 10 years, which will really work very well, like, so then maybe the people whose only profession is video editing, they are going to perish. Or,
Exactly.
I mean, it depends also to what level that can reach the machine, but it will come in a certain day, maybe in 10 years, maybe in 20 years, maybe in 50 years. So at that moment, if you don't have, so that is where my parallel thing comes into play. Like, if you are doing 5 things at the same time, then, because in our learning analytics field, I don't know, it is not related, but in our one of our summer schools, we have summer schools in PhDs. We used to go to different places and meet people. In one of the summer schools, someone said this same thing: you should be ready to work. If you are looking for a job, you should always be ready to do a job in the future, the job that doesn't exist. But if you always target the jobs that exist, then at some day everything will be like outdated. And it is very, how do you say, like, it sounds very difficult, like very ambitious or something, but this book also says that, like, if you really want to tackle with that and deal with the society and live also in harmony, then you need to learn to either have multiple skills or learn to adapt with the change. Like, it was telling about the drone, like, nowadays these are the unmanned UAV, like unmanned aerial vehicles, which many people are using. But there will be a time, maybe in that case also you'll need some humans to, I don't know, like some maintenance which cannot be automatized. So then you need to, beforehand you need to learn that skill, or be open that within 5-10 years I need to retrain myself, or maybe switch to some other job if I'm exploring three options. Or maybe have in mind, okay, in future I'll be doing this which doesn't exist now, but there will be some potential at that time, which obviously there will be risk. But yeah, so that's why you need to continuously be with the change, otherwise it's difficult. I mean, at least maybe in our generation we might not feel it, but our future generation definitely are going to feel it, the impact of this.
A very profound advice. You have to learn to adapt to the changing circumstances, and that's also a good thing that you mentioned, that you should try to probably do multiple things, because I mean, yeah, maybe your primary profession expires, or there's,
Yeah,
get it gets obsoleted, and then you at least have other
I
directions.
mean, I have that in my mind, so it's like my expectation is like that, I don't think it will ever go down, but it will go up, because my expectation is so low. Like in terms of that, like I'm saying, like okay, my job might vanish someday, or my research might vanish someday, so I'll do
Your
this.
research, I think it wouldn't vanish, right?
Yeah, yeah, I know, but I'm just saying, like,
10, 20 years, maybe more, I don't know.
but who knows? Like, why I'm saying, I have a personal experience. So there is a hotel here in Herlin. Herlin is like 10-15 kilometers from my place, where they have an Indian restaurant. So I used to buy Indian food from there. That's my nearest Indian restaurant. So once in that shop, I asked that guy, like, how did you buy the shop and how much you paid and everything. And then I mentioned to him, like, you have a very nice job. I think it was in last year, October or November. Uh, People are always traveling, people are always going to hotels. So these kind of jobs never will face any burden or anything, because nothing can stop that. Even if people don't have money, the people who have money will travel and they will always come to eat. And then after 2 months corona happened. I never thought that such kind of things can come, and also to stop something which is, it seems it is never, it is not vulnerable, but everything is vulnerable. So you need to always have that in mind, like okay, anything can happen to anything, so then I need to be ready with anything. So it's
Yeah,
like,
that's right. I mean, this is like more true during these times, because a
yeah,
lot of people are also getting laid off from jobs. AI is not replacing them, but the virus is causing the layoffs as
yeah,
well. So,
yeah.
yeah, we never know what can happen. So that's a very practical strategy to go with it. So finally, do you have a general advice, a tip, or a suggestion for your viewers that you would like to share?
I think I have told a lot of things. So I think one, I mean, two main things to sum up. I've said so many things, like uh, be positive, try to think positive, and it's very difficult. But if you practice that at least 5 or 10 minutes a day, it will slowly grow. So try to think positive. And another thing I can say is based on this, like try to adapt or deal with the change. Never think that something is changing, then you bring more stress, like oh, again I have to learn this new software, or so that is why I'm saying, like, if your expectation level is so low, by low I don't mean that you should not have ambition, you should have, but not expecting a result. So if your expectation is okay, this is like I don't know how to frame it, but this is like okay, I expect this result. I mean, you have that in mind, it's okay, but don't have, you have that hope, but don't have the expectation that okay, you will definitely reach this. So if you suppose you are submitting to a journal, if you think, I think maybe after first revision I'll definitely get acceptance, and in the first revision itself you get a rejection. So uh, then you will feel that. So if you have that, okay, I don't think it is that strong enough, but you give your best and you have a hope in the back of your mind, okay, it is strong enough. And later when you see the result, if it is really, so the thing is, if you are really below, There's nothing that goes below that. There will always be something that goes above it, or it will stay the same.
Yeah, useful that's a very useful piece of advice. So with this, I'd just like to thank you for all the profound ideas that you shared. It was a really long conversation, and we talked deeply about what you do for living, your research work, and about the impact of the technology on education and other areas, and also about your YouTube channel, how living in the Netherlands is, and a lot of other things. And in the end, we talked about we got to understand your way of thinking. We talked about some motivational stuff and how you view life in general. Some general approaches are what you shared of living, and some mindsets to adopt. So it was a really enriching experience, and I hope you also had a good time. And hopefully we can also do another video in the future on a different topic, probably, who knows. But I thoroughly
Definitely,
enjoyed it,
definitely.
so thank you very much.
It was also very happy. I mean, I never talked that much longer with someone continuously. So probably I liked the interaction. So it was really nice to talk to you. And maybe someday I will also interview you for my channel, or maybe do some other interviews, and we'll also meet soon.
Yeah, sure, sure, sure. Let's plan to meet soon as well. So ideally, the education system has to do something. I think you're getting some WhatsApp notifications or
Oh,
something.
I am getting.
I think so. Hey guys, I really hope that you enjoyed this particular conversation and it helped you in some way, shape, or form. If it did, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification icon or the bell icon so that you can get notified on time whenever the next part is out. Also, it would be really great if you could give me your feedback in the comments below. That would really help me improve. I'm uploading small clips of the long podcasts on a regular basis on platforms like LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. So make sure to follow me on these platforms if you're someone who cannot take out time for the long episodes. The podcasts are also available on all major podcast platforms, including Spotify and Google Podcasts. So if you're someone who prefers to listen to podcasts rather than watching full-length videos, make sure to follow on your favorite podcast platform. Thank you very much and see you next time.